Does pleasure give our lives meaning? Or is it merely a distraction from the existential void that we often grapple with? This is the question we find ourselves pondering today as we delve into the intricate relationship between pleasure and meaning in life. Let's take a moment to consider the concept of pleasure. It's a feeling we all seek, a sweet release from the mundane, a momentary escape from life's challenges. It's the delightful taste of your favorite dessert, the thrill of a new adventure, the warmth of a loved one's embrace. Pleasure, in its many forms, is a universal pursuit, a common thread that binds us all. On the other hand, we have meaning, a sense of purpose, a feeling of fulfillment that goes beyond mere momentary joys. It's the satisfaction derived from accomplishing a challenging task, the contentment of living a life aligned with one's values, the fulfillment of contributing to something larger than oneself. So, where do pleasure and meaning intersect? It's a complex relationship, one that's often clouded by our societal perceptions and personal biases. We live in a world that often equates pleasure with happiness, suggesting that the more pleasure we experience, the happier and more fulfilled we are. But is this really the case? Some argue that pleasure, while enjoyable, is fleeting. It's a temporary high that soon fades, leaving us craving more. Meaning, on the other hand, is enduring. It provides a sense of purpose that anchors us, even in the face of life's storms. Yet, we often find ourselves seeking pleasure, especially when we're grappling with a sense of existential void. Why is this so? Perhaps it's because pleasure is immediate, tangible. It's a quick fix, a band-aid solution for the deeper, more complex issue of finding meaning in life. In our quest for meaning, pleasure often becomes a refuge. But is this refuge a sanctuary or a trap? As we continue on this thought-provoking journey, we will uncover more about the complexities of human motivation and satisfaction. What do psychologists have to say about our inclination to seek pleasure when faced with existential uncertainties? Psychology, a field that seeks to understand the human mind, offers interesting insights into this phenomenon. The human tendency to seek pleasure, especially during challenging times, can be traced back to our fundamental drive for self-preservation. It's as if our minds are wired to seek out experiences that make us feel good as a way to counterbalance the discomfort and distress that existential uncertainties can bring. One of the key psychological theories that touch upon this is Sigmund Freud's principle of pleasure, often referred to as the pleasure principle. Freud posited that humans are driven by the desire to experience pleasure and avoid pain. When we are confronted with existential voids, our instinctual drive pushes us towards activities that bring immediate gratification. However, the narrative doesn't end with Freud. Psychologists also talk about the concept of flow, a state of complete absorption in an activity proposed by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. In a state of flow, we lose ourselves in the task at hand, experiencing a sense of pleasure and fulfillment. When grappling with existential uncertainties, finding our flow can serve as a refuge, a way to regain control and derive a sense of meaning. Then there's the concept of hedonic adaptation, a theory that suggests our happiness levels return to baseline after a positive or negative event. This means that the pleasure we seek as an escape might only provide temporary relief, leading us into a cycle of continually chasing new pleasures to maintain our happiness levels. So as we can see, psychology gives us a nuanced understanding of why we seek pleasure in the face of existential uncertainties. It's not merely escapism or denial, but a complex interplay of our instinctual drives, our ability to find flow, and our inherent tendency to adapt to new levels of happiness. In the light of psychology, pleasure-seeking can be seen as a reaction to our fear of the unknown. Philosophers, on the other hand, have a different perspective on the relationship between pleasure and meaning. In the realm of philosophy, pleasure and meaning have long been subjects of intense scrutiny and debate. The hedonists of ancient Greece, for instance, considered pleasure to be the highest good and the ultimate goal of life. They believed that seeking pleasure in all its forms was not merely an act of indulgence, but a path to fulfillment and happiness. Contrast this with the Stoics, who advocated for emotional resilience and self-control. They argued that true satisfaction comes not from the pursuit of pleasure, but from living a virtuous life regardless of external circumstances. Pleasure, to them, was a byproduct of virtue, not an end in itself. Meanwhile, existentialists like Søren Kierkegaard and Friedrich Nietzsche proposed that meaning is not something given, but something we must create for ourselves. They saw the pursuit of pleasure as a potential distraction from this existential task, a way of avoiding the discomfort of confronting life's inherent meaninglessness. Contemporary philosophers too have weighed in on this debate. Some echo the existentialists, cautioning against the over-reliance on pleasure as a means to fill the existential void. Others, however, argue that pleasure can indeed contribute to a meaningful life if pursued in moderation and balanced with other values. For instance, philosopher Robert Nozick proposed a thought experiment known as the experience machine, which offers endless pleasure but devoid of any real experiences. Many, he found, would reject this machine, suggesting that we value authenticity and reality over mere pleasure. In the end, what these philosophical insights reveal is that the relationship between pleasure and meaning is complex and multifaceted. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. It's a balance, a dance, a negotiation between the desire for immediate gratification and the longing for something deeper, something more enduring. From a philosophical standpoint, pleasure can either augment or detract from life's meaning, depending on our perspective. How do societal factors and cultural norms shape our perceptions of pleasure and fulfillment? This question takes us on a thought-provoking journey into the complexities of human motivation and satisfaction. Consider societal expectations. They often dictate our pursuits, subtly influencing our choices. We're encouraged to chase certain goals like a high-paying job, a big house, or a picture-perfect family, because these are seen as hallmarks of success, of pleasure and fulfillment. Yet, when acquired, these things often fail to provide the deep sense of meaning we crave. That's because societal expectations can sometimes overshadow our true desires and individual paths to fulfillment. Now let's turn to cultural norms. They shape our understanding of what is considered meaningful or pleasurable. In some cultures, pleasure might be tied to communal activities and shared experiences, while in others, individual achievements and personal growth might be viewed as ultimate sources of pleasure. These cultural norms can influence our pursuits and perceptions of pleasure and fulfillment. Personal experiences too play a critical role. Each of us carries a unique set of experiences that shape our understandings and expectations. A person who has faced hardship might find immense pleasure and meaning in helping others overcome similar challenges. Yet another person, having grown up in abundance, might seek meaning in intellectual pursuits or artistic expression. Our experiences, both positive and negative, shape our perceptions, guiding our search for pleasure and meaning. All of these elements intertwine, creating a complex tapestry of influences that shape our perceptions and drive our actions. They make us question, push us to explore, and often lead us to redefine our understandings of pleasure and fulfillment. The interplay of societal factors, cultural norms, and personal experiences is a fascinating exploration of human motivation and satisfaction. It reveals that our search for pleasure and meaning is a journey, one that is deeply personal, constantly evolving and profoundly influenced by the world around us. Our society and culture play a significant role in how we perceive pleasure and seek meaning in life. So, where does this leave us in our understanding of the relationship between pleasure and meaning? We've delved into the depths of human psyche and philosophy, unmasking the complex interplay between pleasure and meaning. It's clear that pleasure, while enticing and immediate, often serves as a temporary refuge from the existential void we grapple with. Yet, it's the pursuit of meaning that offers us lasting fulfillment, even if the path is strewn with challenges and uncertainties. We've also seen how societal factors and cultural norms shape our perceptions of happiness and fulfillment. The societal pressure to constantly pursue pleasure can often divert us from seeking deeper meaning, leading us down a path of fleeting satisfaction. It's a paradoxical situation. We live in a world that promotes the pursuit of pleasure, yet it's the pursuit of meaning that brings us true satisfaction. But the beauty of this intricate relationship between pleasure and meaning is that it's not a binary choice. It's a continuous journey of self-discovery and self-awareness. It's about understanding and acknowledging our desires for pleasure, yet not letting them overshadow our quest for meaning. This journey is deeply personal and unique to each one of us. Our perceptions of pleasure and meaning are shaped by our experiences, beliefs, and values. What brings pleasure to one person might not bring the same joy to another. Similarly, what one person finds meaningful might seem trivial to someone else. So, as we reflect on these insights, let's remember that it's okay to seek pleasure. It's okay to enjoy the moment and relish the immediate gratification. But let's also not forget the importance of finding meaning in our lives. It's this balance between pleasure and meaning that leads to true fulfillment. As we navigate this complex labyrinth of life, let's continuously question, introspect, and strive to understand our motivations and desires. It's this understanding that will guide us, helping us make choices that lead to long-term satisfaction and fulfillment. Understanding the intricate relationship between pleasure and meaning can help us navigate life's existential uncertainties with more clarity and courage.